Yo, what's up, everybody? We are here. It is the weekend. It is Double or Nothing weekend. You are here with Dezzie and Dean. Dean, how are you today, brother?
I'm all gravy, dude. How about yourself?
Oh, man, let me tell you, I am super pumped for this weekend, man. This is going to be an amazing weekend here. Everybody who watched our Dynamite review show from the 20th here from this week, the Go Home show, knows exactly how pumped we are for this. It's Friday right now, Friday morning. Tomorrow night is the show. I've got the guys coming over for barbecue, bro. You know it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching the show tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. Like I said, Wednesday's show did a fantastic job of building it up, and I'm ready.
Totally. So let's get right into it here. We're going to show you, this is our AEW Double or Nothing 2020 match predictions and who we think is going to take home the wins on that night, Saturday. So to start it off here, we want to go off with a bang. We think the AEW TNT Championship is going to be one of the bigger matches of the night. They've been building to this. It's one of the biggest stories they have going on. At least in our opinion, we're the most involved with this one. So we want to start the show off here with the banger, and we're going to go Cody versus Lance Archer. Who do you have winning this match?
At the beginning of the feud, I sort of wanted Lance to win, but I think the way the story's gone, the way they booked it, and obviously loving Cody, I think Cody needs a title around his waist or on his shoulder. Yes. You know, he gets such big entrances and he clearly means something. So he sort of needs something shiny on him to put a stamp on that. If you are a casual coming through, like when the live crowd's there, he gets such reactions and he always has a big entrance and his matches always have such good story. I think he needs something shiny. And I think Lance maybe he's a bit like Strowman effect. It's like, how would you then take it off him? Does he need it as well?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want him to lose, if you know what I mean. But I think Cody. I think Cody.
I think Cody too. I think Cody wins it too. I think Cody they did a good job by not putting the world title on Cody in the first year. But I think by putting this mid-card title on Cody, then definitely that's a good call. I think Lance Archer is really dominant. And like you said, I think I had him winning early on too. But with the development of the story, it changes your mind. That's awesome. So I see Cody winning this one, taking the title. Lance Archer is big, but I think he's a good opponent. He's a good challenger for the title. You know, I don't think he's a good champion right now.
Well, I could still get some maybe after once like Mike's presented the title to Cody. Maybe Lance Archer could knock him out in one blow just to send him out at least looking like a beast. And if Mike's into that, he's obviously coming back himself. He might not want to do that, but he's a bit of a wrestling fan. Who knows?
You've got to think. Mike Tyson got involved with Shawn Michaels. He punched Shawn Michaels. He wants to make headlines. And what's a bigger headline than Mike Tyson knocking out a guy who's like 7 foot tall and Lance Archer here? You know what I mean? I think definitely Lance Archer gets Mike Tyson's there to get physical, 100%.
I think so. Yeah. At least one punch is getting jolly. But yeah, so maybe Tyson. But then again, would you want Lance Archer to lose and be knocked out by Tyson? So it's a weird one. That we'll see what happens.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Best friends versus private party. How do you see this one unfolding?
It can only be best friends, surely. Private party haven't been featured, and also they've been pushed. Best friends as coming onto the #1 contender, and this can confirm it. I think so. I think this one's easiest one to decide for me. It's best friend.
Wow, okay, because I had private party coming out of this one here. For the same reasons that you say, because I believe best friends are on their way up, and that's a good win. But I just see this one as starting off the show with a big pop. You know what I mean? Private party, fun guys. Let's give them a little celebration at the end. I see them winning the match. But we'll see where that one goes for sure.
Well, we've got a bit of predictions warfare starting now then, haven't we?
Exactly. The divergence has begun. The divergence has begun. Okay, so now again, we talked about on Wednesday night how great the Shawn Spears news segment was. He even liked my comment on Instagram that I said we need more of this because we do. We definitely need more of that. It can't be a one-off. It has to be more than just the one episode. So who do you see beating? Who do you see winning this one? Shawn Spears, Dustin Rhodes.
I think Shawn Spears needs the win more than Dustin Rhodes. Dustin's at that point in his career where he probably is happy to put Shawn Spears over. And with it being Shawn Spears' segment, he called out the match. You can't really say, oh, this guy's too old, he's going to retire, or give him and then put him down so much to then lose to him. It wouldn't do him any favours whatsoever. So I think what makes most sense, and I think what will happen is, Shawn Spears should get the win here.
And
it should still be a
good
match because they're both good workers.
And I believe it too. That's what I think. That's the biggest value that Dustin has, is that he's such a great wrestler that he can definitely take Shawn and elevate him through this match. Dustin does not need to win this at all. Dustin really doesn't need to win any matches here anymore, you know? He just needs to show that he can still go, that he's willing to put himself forward every time. And that's really where the value is for Dustin. Not in the wins, but it's those efforts, right? It's kind of like the journey, right? Yeah, I see Shawn Spears winning this one for sure. Again, so this was one we talked about that we weren't sure if we were going to put up because of the developments. You want to go through that? Break us through the development here from Britt Baker on Wednesday night.
Well, yeah, we saw on Wednesday night. We didn't know if it would have worked. I first thought was she's injured there, and but I heard earlier on in the day she had an MRI scan, and now it's come out that she's torn an ACL, which could have her out for 6, 9, even 12 months. So I don't think this match happened. If it had gone ahead, I'd have had Baker all day because she's probably one of in the female division, if not the whole, she's one of the best characters. She's really turned it around since the heel turn. So I'd have definitely had her going over, and then maybe, to go on to fight the champion, whatever that may be. But yeah, it looks like that match ain't going to happen. I don't think.
Yeah, that really sucks. Yeah, that really sucks because Britt Baker, again, from the very beginning, they obviously had a spotlight on her. They changed her direction a bit, but then definitely they've still had a spotlight on her and where she's going, as sort of like a face for the division. So it's really upsetting to see that if she is hurt. Of course, I did have Chris Statlander for this match because, like I said, Statlander is my girl here, right? I've got to go with that. The number one alien here in AEW. But let's see what happens. I think hopefully they'll find a filler for that one. But what's funny? I was watching Joe Alonzo's Instagram last night, his Instagram live, and we were asking him, what match are you looking forward to most on the card? And then he said it himself. He's like, I can't really think of one because like everybody's wrestling. It's not just 5 matches on the card that are being built up as marquees. Everybody has a spot on this card here. So you really don't know. Like it's almost lost in the shuffle a bit. So that's why I'm kind of maybe thinking they pull back and they just cancel this match altogether instead of finding a replacement for Britt Baker.
Well, it would great to have 2 women's matches on the card though on a pay-per-view for AEW.
And that's very true.
So that's awesome. So whether they do want to fill it in, who's been most featured on Dark? Someone like Big Swall or something maybe could go against Statlander, someone like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just drop the match, to give other matches more time. So I won't be surprised at that.
No, it's true. They do have good storytelling pacing, so I think they might just do that. Speaking of storytelling here, Jungle Boy MJF, man, these guys have been able to tell through their various factions, right? Through the 2 sides here. Such a good story, man. Like I said, I'm such a big fan of Wardlow, Reigns, MJF. He's just a total package to me. But on the same side, in that same breath, Luchasaurus, the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy. It's a tough one for me, but I'm going to say Jungle Boy takes it just because we need to sort of have that happy ending right now. Maybe it's not even over. I don't think it's over at all. We're going to see Wardlow versus Luchasaurus down the road. But in this chapter, I think Jungle Boy takes the win over MJF because Jungle Boy could use it more, I think, right now.
But isn't MJF still undefeated? And is Jungle Boy the man to break that streak? That's what I'm thinking. Like, I feel like MJF he's such a good heel and effective heel, and they're building him up, and he's got time to keep growing to the point where the person it should be a bigger deal. Like it should be pushed more, like his undefeated streak. So I think MJF in this one to keep his smugness. You know what I mean? So he loses Jungle. But I'm going for MJF.
Now, in that same vein, I know that I like to go, point, counterpoint, and then we move on. But this is kind of interesting, is that I believe for those exact reasons, Jungle Boy should be the one to beat MJF, should squeak out the victory. And can you imagine how bonkers MJF will be, how up the wall he will be, that his first loss in AEW on his record will always be Jungle Boy. This kid that he didn't respect.
Stories that can come for that, to be fair. There's lots of good story angles that could come for that.
It's like a 1, 2, 3 kid, Razor Ramon, like 1, 2, 3 kid taking it. So I think I'm rooting for Jungle Boy in this one. I think there's a fun group of guys. I do feel bad for Jungle Boy. When I met them on the cruise, I was talking to Marco because I was hanging out with Marco, and Marco was like, "This is my boy," and I stepped right on Jungle Boy's barefoot, and I was so sorry. And he's like, "That's all good, bro." And I'm like, "Oh, you only get one chance. You only get one first impression." So Jungle Boy.
First news, I knocked a full drink over Mark Briscoe, and then we ended up becoming great friends from it. So that was it can work both ways.
This could be the beginning of me and Jungle Boy's tag team. Then who knows? That's awesome. Okay, this is a big one here. We're into the final 4 now. Ladder match here. Okay, so the winner gets the World Championship shot here. There's going to be a mystery competitor. There's 9 wrestlers in this match. Who do you see winning it?
So it's Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Rey Fenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus. And like you say, the mystery opponent, which it's the mystery opponent that's in the back of my head here, because, like, would you want to just introduce someone and then not do anything? Or, Charlotte, well, I think at very least they're going to have a good showing. Maybe we could do a bonus point for in the little warfare that we're doing of maybe having a guess at who that person could be.
Yeah, okay.
I think it could be Drew Gulak, because he has no non-compete clause. He was released, like, he was just, his contract expired. So I'm wondering maybe if it could be Drew Gulak as a mystery opponent, which I couldn't see him winning, but I'd imagine him putting on a good show in that regard. Okay. So I suppose this one, I've got 2 people down because it's a bit head and heart is this one. Because I feel like out of all them, Darby Allin maybe is probably, seems like a good option. But heart says Orange Cassidy. Because I just really want to see Orange Cassidy win, and I think a match against Mox could be ace. So let me have a little think. You tell me who you've got, and then I'll try and pick one of them.
Okay, so that's sort of, it's funny that you said that, because as much as I looked at this match and I said, okay, who could win it for me? The mystery competitor to me could be somebody that you start off and hot shot right into, so you show that they're just, it's not one of those, hey, he was a world champion somewhere else, or he was a big deal somewhere else, and now he's here, but we're starting him at the bottom again. It's one of those things where it's like we're very aware and cognizant of this person's ability. So they're coming into this big match and they're going to start off with a title shot just to give them some establishment. I think that could be, but it depends on who it is. Like if it's going to be like a really sort of like a clowny sort of person, or if it's somebody who's like a legit debut. That being said, I really like what's going on with Rey Fenix. What I've seen with Rey Fenix, honestly, I think that he's showing a lot. But on that same regard, Orange Cassidy, I mean, maybe they're baiting me too hard. Maybe I'm just being force-fed, like the suggestiveness. But his last image of him kind of just like on that ladder was like, okay, OC could take it, and that would be some match right there. Him and Mox and anybody. We know that. But I'm going to take the mystery competitor in this one. I'm going to bank on the mystery. But in that same vein,
guesses
I don't even have a clue. I couldn't even, I should have put some thought into that one, brother, because I just love the idea of a mystery competitor coming in unannounced, and there's a reason they haven't announced them, I believe. And I think that's because they're going to win this match.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Phoenix before. Like, I have got Allen or Cassidy and maybe Phoenix and a question mark, because thinking with Pentagon not being there, and if you looking at them, the people in the match, he is legit, isn't it? He is one of the best in the world. But apparently he's a bit hurt from his bump he took on a Wednesday. Oh. Not like injured, more like, probably bruised because of the way he landed.
Right.
So I imagine they'll protect him and he'll come out later in the match, because obviously it's not all at once, is it? People can come out in order.
And that was it too, right? Yeah.
Because if you want him, he's the kind of person you want in a ladder match like this. And when he's in it, you'd expect him to be flipping and diving all over. So maybe they could protect him by bringing him out later on. But he's one that did cross the back of my mind. But I think I still can't decide whether to go head or heart and go. Yours is quite conservative with 2 being announced. It's a good one, is that? I like it. I'm gonna go Orange Cassidy.
There we go. Okay. OC. We have OC locked in there. Okay.
I'm not confident about that one, but I think that's just heart talking.
All right. Okay, so now this is a big one here too. Of course, the Stadium Stampede match, the Elite versus the Inner Circle. We've said a lot about this. Obviously, there's been a lot of developments here. There's a lot of layers to this story. It's not just like a 5-on-5 Survivor Series thrown together kind of thing. These are 2 very established factions that have got a lot going on. And like I said before, I could say it to death. Inner Circle for me, I just see this whole Elite crumbling from the inside being a bigger story here. And I can't see them pulling it together in a match that the Inner Circle has called themselves. You know what I mean? You don't call them into that kind of a match without being prepared. Inner Circle is ready for this. Maybe I'm biased, but I got Inner Circle.
I got the Inner Circle too. I think this will probably main event the show. And I believe exactly what you're saying, what you're saying. It's the division within the Elite
Yeah.
That will ultimately cost them. And the story potential of that is amazing. There's loads of ways you can go. So I think it will be that. Because like I say, on Wednesday, they were stood tall, the Elite, but Hangman left. So even though they were stood tall, they weren't together. Whereas Inner Circle may have been chased off, but at least they did it as a unit. Right. So I think that's definitely going to play in a match. And I have Inner Circle. Yeah. The champion and his crew.
Exactly. Exactly. Nyla Rose versus Shida for the AEW Women's Championship here. Again, this is the one where I think that Nyla Rose, I don't know what they're going to do with this division here at this moment. I mean, like with Britt out, with the way that things are going. Shida, to me, like they talk about how long she's been #1 contender. To me, she's a credible threat to the title. She could definitely be a great champion. Is this going to be her time? Are they going to clip Nyla this quick? And will she get it back later? It's a real, like, it's up in the air to me. I love Nyla because just the raw power. I think I told that story about the cruise where Nyla, I asked her to slap me and she gave me, like, instead of just, she's like paintbrush or knife edge. And I said paintbrush. So she slaps me, but instead of it leaving a red mark, it just bruised immediately. It was that much of an impact. So I had to laugh so hard. That's power, man. That's power. So I think I have to go with my native beast here, Nyla Rose, to win this one here to retain.
Well, I think it just seemed a bit too soon to take the title off her as well, like establishing her as this dominant force. But earlier on in the day, I had Shida, but I think, again, that might have been hard because I love her so much and she's so fantastic. But then that changed for me when I found out Baker were injured, because I'd have had, if Baker could have beat Statlander, I think there's good money in a Shida and Baker feud. So I'd have had Shida winning the title because that would have been even better over the title. So but I think now they might call an audible thanks to the Baker injury. And I think so. I'm going to say Nyla Rose keeps it because I think Statlander's ready, can just step up straight to challenger. And then you've got a big power versus power, big woman versus big woman match to be had down the line then. So so I've changed with the events of today to Nyla Rose. And I think she hasn't had it long enough. She should sort of keep it. And
oh, yeah, they got to establish that. I think they established that as a longer championship reign for sure.
Make the belt bigger.
That's exactly what we talked about too. Yeah, just take this opportunity to just like an inch or two on every side here. Just make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. Okay, so John Moxley. Yeah. So John Moxley, Brodie Lee, obviously the exalted one, Brodie Lee, making his debut in AEW here, and they put him right up. I think they made that to be a message to say, yes, we are treating this man with the respect that he needs. He's at least in the title picture right off the bat to establish that, right? I think there's a lot going on with the Dark Order. I like that he took the championship. I'm a fan of that, obviously. I use that sort of same angle here in something I did. I love that sort of just like, I'm the champion. I'm going to be the champion, and I've got the belt. So that's possession's 9/10 of the law, right? John Moxley has had a great approach in coming back to this. Obviously, John, face of the company right now, second champion in company history, the youngest champion in AEW history. So I think he definitely keeps this title tonight here. He retains it. And I think we see, I hope because of the border stuff, it's pretty, this is why we're not seeing guys like Pac. This is why we're not seeing Evil Uno. This is why we're not seeing, like Pentagon. And we kind of know that's the reason. So I'm hoping that given those constrictions, we find some more interesting storylines coming out of this. But I definitely want to see more from Brodie Lee. I see him. Is it going to be a clean finish? Yeah, geez, maybe a botched interference from the Dark Order, which is going to cause something down the road. Maybe that's why, like there's so much to do there with the Dark Order. So I see a botched finish, a botched cheat attempt by the Dark Order. John Moxley keeps his title. As much as Mox could beat him clean, I think just because there's so much of that faction playing on with Dark Order, I think they have to kind of go there.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to protect Brodie Lee, but I think Mox definitely has to win this. It's his first proper defense of it. Well, on pay-per-view anyway, so it's like it's way too soon. He's doing fantastic things. Like I say, he's a great champion, a good face of the company at the moment. But like I said, Brodie Lee does need protecting. So my thoughts echo yours. I was thinking it'll be the minions in trying to help will most likely cost Brodie Lee. And I wonder if maybe that could then post-match, we're talking about there could be a rivalry between original Dark Order and the new Dark Order. Maybe that could be a way for him to sort of branch off from it. Like say, none of you are good enough for me. I will branch out on my own, and then you could bring the original Dark Order and make that something else. Maybe that. But I think definitely Brodie Lee will be protected. And I think obviously the minions are the perfect way to do that, some sort of botch there. But it should be a fun match. They're both great wrestlers. Luke Harper's fantastic for a man of his size.
No, it's going to be physical.
It should be good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the most physical match of the night here, really. I mean, Brodie Lee with those boots, and Jon Moxley for his just love of violence. I think this is definitely going to be one of the harder hitting ones of the night for sure. Cool. So what do you think? And then overall, like I'm excited for it. Obviously, I'm super pumped for this. I've got the show is pre-bought. Like I said, I got the boys coming over here. Any final thoughts for you going into the show here before we watch the actual program?
No, like you say, I'm just really excited for it. It should be good. And it's good. Did you make a note of what we picked then? Because there are a couple of differences there. We'll have to keep a track on. Who had the most right there. But yeah, just looking forward to the show. And obviously, we'll be doing a review of it afterwards. Hopefully, go out on Sunday. So look forward to that.
Definitely. Good stuff. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for liking our page, for subscribing to our videos. Find us here on YouTube. Find us on Facebook. Find us all over the place. And maybe even on the Jericho Cruise. Hey, Dean, come on, buddy. We got to make that work, man.
That would be nice.
Yeah, we got to make that work. We got to play lottery tickets. Awesome. All right. Well, you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the show. For those of you in the States, happy long weekend. Happy May 2-4. Everybody be safe out there. Love each other. And we will definitely see you Sunday for a recap of Double or Nothing.
Peace.